Dr. Billy Garvey, that is episode 108 in the can, conflict resolution and the notebook. What are people going to learn this week?
We go into the movie a bit. It's a really fun episode, it felt like, considering it was about conflict resolution. And then we talked about a framework that hopefully is really helpful. It can be used with 3 different groups. We won't spoil the reveal, with 3 different groups, including young kids, and hopefully a really helpful framework to support something that's really important and shouldn't be as hard as it is.
Fantastic framework, and you're going to hear me really stumble through it and work through it. So it's a bit of a tough listen there for probably 7 or 8 minutes. Just a quick shout out as well. Thanks to those who have joined the Patreon. We have had a couple of live listens, and I think people are really enjoying it. So we'd have AMAs over there. So Ask Me Anything with Billy, After Hours,
and Nick and other
me,
people.
yes, and me and other people as well. So thanks to you guys who are supporting that. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the episode and make sure you get through your questions as soon as you listen to this one, especially if it's a week after it's just come out. We'd love those questions.
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Billy.
Hi, I'm Billy, a developmental paediatrician.
And I'm Nick, a developing parent.
We're going to use scenes from iconic movies to talk about how we best support our kids.
This is Pop Culture Parenting.
Hey, don't let your mother smell that beer on your breath. She'll take it out on me.
I don't want to see you again for the rest of my whole life. I don't want to see anybody else either.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Just use your best judgment. We trust you.
Good afternoon, Dr. Billy Garvey. How are you?
I'm good, mate. It's been a big 24 hours, big 2 weeks, big 2 weeks since the last recording we did. Actually, I think I texted you during a high and a low. I texted you when I was on my way to landing a front flip as a 42-year-old on a trampoline. So I was like, I finally made it. That teenage boy is good enough.
You didn't just tell me, you go, oh, can you do a front flip? And I was like, no, okay. Oh, that's right. This is what I meant to ask. So can you? Oh, well, yeah. Now that you mentioned it, Nick.
I got the video already uploaded to send to you.
4 different angles was weird.
Got the kids holding it. No, keep it steady. And then 2 days later, I was brushing my teeth and saw a white hair in my beard and was like, that is...
And I saw you 2 weekends in a row. We had dinner and a party.
Yeah.
A kids party, which I'm sure we'll get to, and then we had dinner and a barbecue.
Yes.
So we've been highly exposed.
Yeah, I've got to see heaps. Got to see socially with some of the boys.
Yeah.
At a pub. It was amazing.
Yeah, oh God, that's 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Probably need some time. Feels weird. Catching up so much.
Maybe that's why I've been so agitated.
It's a real shortness to you, Billy.
Yeah. You just answered a question, actually. Why am I feeling so tired? Maybe I don't need to get lunch. Anyway, how are you going?
I'm sweating. I'm really hot. I don't know why.
How are you going?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Really good. No complaints. Getting back to some normalcy post school holes and just that sort of stuff. But all good. No, pretty up and about. Heading into a bit of a birthday season around our house.
Yes, and we kicked it off yesterday, and listeners will not be surprised at all. But you were phenomenal. You were just so amazing. Do you know what the funny thing is? I didn't tell you this. We went through all the kids that came, and it was like 8 kids or something. Yeah. And she's naming them all, like really excited. And then she goes, Nick. And you were one of the kids. Only parent that got named is one of the kids.
You put an obstacle course in front of me, for one. I did the whole thing straight away. And then I was like, there was goal kicking practice. And I was like,
time to
this is
shine.
great too. Yeah. I really bodied out those kids as well.
Yeah. A bit of forgetting Sarah Marshall, the tackles. But Annalise and I both said actually just how lucky we are to have you in our life now. Amazing you are because lots of reasons. There's about 1 million of them. But yeah, Evie struggled a few times and we couldn't get her back into playing. We failed a couple of times and then you swung in and jumped on the tug of war with her.
That's the easy stuff. Like it's
not, mate. A lot of people don't make that effort. A lot of people don't succeed at it. You put all the work in with them. It's beautiful to see Charlie seeking you out now.
Good.
So,
well, thank you. It's really nice.
Mate.
Thank you. It's good when you've got other people that can give you that sort of chop out and break it up a little bit because, they seem to, what is it? The contrary. Why are they contrary towards parents sometimes, children? What is it?
Well, there's a bit of independence in it, but, you know, like I want autonomy, you know, kind of, we even spoke about this, like yesterday during the party, and I've spoken to Annalise about it since, about like, it's kind of a joke now about how much I say I love Evie and how much I want kisses and cuddles off her. Annalise is like, because I asked for her opinion. She didn't give it to me unsolicited, but I was like, I worry I'm overdoing it a bit. And she's like, yeah, you might be, because you kind of made a game about her not wanting it. And I think you said that, you grew up sometimes like just getting told all the time.
Yeah, my mum used to say it all the time. I'm like,
Yeah.
And
it's one of those things, isn't it? Like, you obviously knew how much your mum and still know how much your mum loves you.
Yep.
But it's, just that kind of forcing love on kids a bit. So I'm just, because I just, obviously, like you, I just adore my kids. And so it's very exciting. But
and I had a great time yesterday. So.
Yes.
Should we get into Griswolds and Winslows?
Yeah, what should we start with?
You go first and you pick what you want.
Okay.
I don't object to fun. I love fun. In fact, I'm the grand funk master of fun.
You want to go first?
I'll go first. Mine's a bit of an odd one.
Okay.
An odd one. But it made me feel really good for all the work that we're doing and you're doing, particularly you're doing. But I took the kids to a pub recently. I don't know why. Well, it frames up.
I felt really proud of myself.
Yeah, I don't know why I should have really practiced this story. Just took the kids to high tea, but it's a place I used to enjoy high tea. No, so I went to this really cool pub that I used to go to, and I rolling with my kids, and I was like, it's a really cool pub, and I the story's going great, and I was at the bar, and I was like, oh God, it's good to be back here, I'd sort of take the girls there and blah blah blah, and I was like, I'm dad now, I'm not a cool dad, like cool mum, and I was chatting. This guy goes to me, this guy at the end of the bar, he was like, you got that podcast? And I go, yeah, I'm in the podcast. And he goes, oh, it's really good. And I was like, oh, of course. And I said, you got kids? Have you got kids or you teacher or something? He's like, no. I go, oh, yeah. He goes, no, just reparenting myself, just really like listening to it. And I went, oh. I said, oh. Like I hadn't had that response from someone.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And
that's amazing, isn't it?
I was a bit like, I was like, that's great. And I said, oh, cool, thanks. And I left him alone. Well, no, I bent his ear for things that I'm doing. I've learned from Billy. No, but I was like, oh, I just thought that was a really nice thing that someone, who's not, he just said that. And I was taken aback. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, that's great. But I hadn't heard the response. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. It was a while ago, but I remember going into a place and two like 20-year-old couple came up and was like, hey man, I was like, oh, that's the coolest I've ever been. Because he was like, I really love what you're doing. Actually, no, a young guy came up to me at a farmer's market, like ran out of the stall to come and tell me. Yeah. So it's phenomenal. Someone the other day like said, sorry for bothering you. I was like, you're not bothering me. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, not at all.
You're showing gratitude, which we're going to talk about. It's on topic.
Oh, really?
And it just makes me feel
really
good.
I don't know the topic.
So no, you don't know the topic. So yeah, maybe I'm going to start because my main thing is it starts actually as a Grizzy and becomes a Winslow. So
okay.
So maybe let's go
Grizzy Winslow.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Hey, don't let your mother smell that beer on your breath. She'll take it out on me.
So one thing that and this promise it relates to parenting. One thing, the pop culture parenting is part of social enterprise called Guiding Growing Minds that's trying to like really share what we do in clinic more broadly. Most kids will never see us. Those that do have a long wait list. So much of this is like stuff that we can do in the community with trusted relationships that already exist, the amazing caregivers and educators and everyone else, not me. The book has been this really amazing thing that we've talked about a fair bit. It's getting translated into another language now, like really cool. But we got some really good advice back when I wrote it about like keep your powder dry in the UK and the States because you want a partnership with someone who's going to help with reach and media.
Gotcha.
Had this amazing support from someone who's trying to help with that. We said no to a couple of deals because this one was potentially happening. And I've been waking up every morning for about 2 months waiting to hear about this. Just really stressed about it. And I've been like, just not sleeping well because I'm like drinking less, which is, I've talked about that before, but just like waking up at 3, can't fall back asleep. 2 nights ago, the night before Evie's birthday, I woke up and found out the one we'd been hanging out for fell through. And I was just like, damn, I was like so pumped for that. It was like, I don't know if you have this stuff where like this will be the thing that makes it all work, because I was like, if we can engage better, like our podcast, you know, the book, the work we do with the States, like that'll just be amazing, because there's, you know, so many great partnership opportunities over there. And it looks like it's going to work. And we're still going to try. So it looks like I'll be coming in September, maybe Nick, if we can pull some strong media options. Like, but, you know, so it'd be really cool to think about that trip being fruitful. But that was the idea, was that, you know, the book partnership would all be sorted. So I've kind of been just worried that I've been a bit selfish and, you know, trying to bite off more than I can chew, but hoping that still works out. Woke up 3 a.m, saw the email. Evie's birthday's the next day. Couldn't get back to sleep. Did this work, which is part of the Winslow stuff, literally at 3:30 in the morning, just lying there in the dark, that my therapist has been working on, about like acknowledge how that makes you feel. Makes me feel inferior, not good enough. Everyone has told me I'm out to nothing is right, all of that stuff. Validate it, but then kind of go through it, you know, and process it and all that stuff and think about that. So I was doing that. Didn't fall back asleep. Got up. Evie wakes up super pumped. She's like, it's my party day. And she like couldn't sleep for 2 nights and all this stuff. And then this thing happened that was really powerful for me, where she was so excited and she came up to me like, and she's like, hey, Dad, are you going to be able to come to my birthday party? Expecting me not to be coming. And I was like, fuck. She doesn't think I'm going to come to a birthday party because of how much I'm missing. Because I don't come to most things. And, you know, the thing is, Annalise works long hours but doesn't have a say over the roster. I don't have to work as much as I do clinically. I don't have to do the social enterprise. I don't have to write the book. I don't need to do the podcast. Like, those are all choices I'm actively making, and I probably complain about them too much. But those are selfish pursuits that I'm doing, and I'm robbing time with my kids for them as my choice, because it fills me so much and I get more out of it than I put into it. But it was just a really big wake-up call for me, where I was like, man, my 4-year-old daughter doesn't think I'm going to come to her birthday party and is asking. I can't remember how she worded it, but it was like she was asking, expecting I wouldn't be. And so I was like...
knock the wind out of your sails.
Yeah. So, yeah. But once again, I did the work, and I luckily just that week, the week that's just we're at the end of, I'd gone through this work with my therapist about feeling like, because I'm chasing all this stuff, that I'm not a good dad. And, you know, and yeah, no, it's beautiful, your responses to it, mate. You're the one doing the coalface work with me, and the therapist is the one, like, which is what the podcast is trying to do.
Yeah, I'll let the therapist do that stuff.
Well, that's what the pod's trying to do. This is the science and the evidence. Yeah, well, he's like, use it. He's like, that inner critic needs to stop, but he's like, use it to try and get even better as a dad. Understand where that comes from in your childhood, all of that kind of stuff, you know? And so it's, so yeah, it was actually, it kind of became, because I haven't been really, I'm like, the book will work out. Like, hopefully something will happen now where an even more powerful partnership comes. People are still trying to help us with the States and the UK. But I'm like, I'm trying to get to that point where we'll talk about this more in others, but it's slightly related to what we're going to talk about, where I'm just like at peace with myself about stuff, and I can take that feedback on externally and go, yeah, cool, use it, but use it in a healthy way that doesn't challenge who you are and induce feelings of shame and like you're a failure and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, hard to swing in off your own Goose Wild after.
No, don't worry, I got a great one. But what I was going to say was, so I respect what the shrink's telling you and all that. So I call them shrink, psychologist. You're amounting to plenty, and you're a plenty good parent. I know I could sit here and go, I know that feels bad. I know you would feel bad, but I'm like, mate, I see it.
Yeah.
And I see all of it.
Yeah,
like,
thanks, mate. I appreciate it. And it's like, do you remember that? We might have said on the pod before a long time ago that I always forget who it is. There's an amazing NBA basketball player who was like, if all I'm remembered for is how good I was at basketball, I've failed at a lot of parts of my life. Yeah. And it was kind of like this real opening because, I just have a lot of, you know, a lot of anxiety and past trauma on screwing that up, and like, you know, I'm getting feedback and I should know better and blah, blah, blah. So I really appreciate. Yeah, you're doing a great job. Yeah, thanks.
It showed yesterday as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I was, it was, it's a tough thing, the birthday party, isn't it? Because you kind of, like you talk about in the playgrounds, you kind of want to stand back and just let them play, but you also want to be in there, like, being a part of the memory, but also making sure it succeeds. And I think you do that beautifully.
But you want, like, it seems so silly, I'm going to say it, but you kind of want good photos from the day, because that's often what the memory is. No one goes, there was half an hour where I didn't feel good or whatever, you're like, yeah, let's get some smiles around that photo. It sounds bad, but it is part of it because then I think that's what they might hopefully take away because sometimes kids don't take it away, but if you get some good photos, like, no, you had a really good day. And
yeah. Once again, no surprise to listeners that somehow you won the tug of war, won the athletics, won the footy, but also took phenomenal photos.
I was pretty keen on winning that tug of war. When they put 6 or 7 kids on, I was like...
You pretended to wrap it around.
I was like, yeah, I was saying, well, that scene in The Matrix where he wraps the cable around his head. I was like...
The helicopter.
I was like, come on, kids.
Beautiful, mate. No, so tell me, what's your grizzy?
My grizzy happened about 3 metres from here, Billy, when I was at your house for... we had a barbecue recently with our family friends.
Yeah, they got 3 of the tribes together. That's
yes. We got all the kids together. It was really good and everything was going pretty good. It's busy and we were having water fights. It was lots of fun. Is it a tough one to revisit for me? Because it's really shitty what I did. But I've changed since then. So what I did was bad, but what I changed since then, I've changed it and it's gotten better.
Okay.
So I feel like it feels shitty. Anyway, righto. So one of my kids wanted to do a performance and stop the whole party. The whole party was, I think it was about 12 of us. It was 8 kids or whatever and 6 adults or something like that, whatever the numbers are. And it wasn't like a full swinging party and whatever. And I had a moment of like, I don't want to stop the party for you to do a performance thing. I was like, the words around it, I don't know how to quite put them, but it didn't feel good. I was like, I don't want to stop. We're just having a party. Like, why do we have to stop, do this centre of attention thing? And I didn't want to. Sounds stupid. Maybe it's hard to give the context of this.
Stupid. But it's not. It makes sense.
I remember going,
understand it too.
I was like, I don't want to bloody, do we have to, is my attitude, which is shit.
And what was your worry?
And I can tell you, why was my worry? I'm like...
What were you feeling when that was potentially happening?
I don't know, like it felt like special treatment or something, or like I don't want to go quite into probably what I just didn't.
Yeah.
And
so the party was flowing and you were
party's flowing. I was like, and then it's just embarrassing, like the way I reflect upon it because it felt harsh. And anyway, what happened subsequently was we decided to and we put a song on. My kid danced. People must be listening to this going, you're a jerk. But I did it. So. And then I was like, then you go, oh, yeah, I used to do this all the time. And I was like, oh, yeah. And then one of the mums there is like, well, I'm dancing next and busted out some dance. She was phenomenal. Yeah. And then probably 3 other kids did it. And then I was like, and I just turned to Henry. I was like, why did we have such a problem with this? And I've done this before. To make it, I'm not stopping the party for you to do a dance. And it's so shit. For a bloke that puts his kids into dance and tap all week and then when they go to want to perform, I go, oh, no. And I go, the week before I'm like, I wanted to go dance at the disco, but I don't want to stop a party. Yeah. And I was like, and then everyone had a little dance. And I was like, well, that probably wouldn't have happened if I didn't do this. And it was really nice. And it just made me go, it was such a prick move for every other time I've not let her go and do it. And it also made me then subsequently, like, now we practice before we go out. If there's going to be a barbecue or something, we actually prepare and do the dance and, and we actually get enjoyment and build up and she feels great and she comes out and does it. And here I am trying to build self-esteem, particularly in one of my daughters, and I'm like, no. And I'm like, it just made me go, God, I don't know.
That's awful, mate. I'm sorry you felt like that. I didn't catch that.
Well, it's ridiculous in hindsight. It is the way I feel and do all that. But I just felt
You're
like
such a good human.
Well, I
parent,
just felt like
friend,
shit because
partner because of your feelings.
But it's crap, and I don't know. I've just changed my whole attitude around it. And since then, like last couple of weeks, whatever, it's just been so good.
So do you know my experience of that was that party was succeeding because of you, because you actually said to me, you were like, it's going to be hot. And one thing I really like is when other parents get involved in the water play.
Yeah.
And,
mate
and you
did
were
that to
still
me
the main
recently.
one.
It
I
was
was, but the kids were so naturally drawn to like squirting you and all that stuff. And you brought stuff around that I was like, oh, there's some beautiful photos of you, like them all ganging up on you and all this stuff. And that was a success because of you. And I know you're consciously putting effort into that. And I was trying to do it with you, not doing it as well as you. And I caught your daughter asking for it. And I went straight to egocentric, and I was like, yeah, man, I used to get the best feeling out of stopping all the adults watch me do a performance. So I was like, hell yeah, we're doing it. But I'd love to say it was because I was protecting your daughter's self-esteem. It was more that I was like, this is such a nice memory from my childhood, because I used to make my mum and all of her friends watch endless performances of me dressing up in like women's costumes and doing dance numbers. And I think my brothers probably hated it because I was the main one doing it. But I think that it's quite funny because your girls are like this. I went into stage performance because I loved it growing up, like, which is probably no surprise, because I loved it so much. And that's probably why I like public speaking and all that kind of stuff. But I think that, and it's funny, isn't it? There's this beautiful memory that I didn't know that was a part of that for you, where one of the boys caught this beautiful, like 90-second clip of the kids all dancing. And it's a shame not being able to share it on socials because it's this beautiful moment of like just kids dancing and everyone just enjoying them. And it's,
I know. And here I was trying to kibosh it.
But I think the hard thing, I totally understand where you're coming from, but the hard thing is that you maybe slipped once when all the rest of us weren't putting in the effort that you were to be letting kids chase you around. Like in your shorts and squirt you with water pistols, including my 18-month-old. You know what I mean? And he's cackling, laughing because he's wetting you and you're jumping and shrieking and all this stuff. Like, and you're beating yourself up for the one time where it took you 30 seconds to catch yourself. Like it's...
Well, no, it was you going, yeah, of course we can, did the performance. And I was like, all right, we're doing it.
Yeah. But
and I still begrudgingly did it. And then afterwards I was like, well, none of this would have happened if it had been my way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think that most of the parties that I've never seen anyone facilitate kids being not just in the background at a party like you do. Yeah. So I reckon it's more of a sensitivity in you that you are like, don't stop it, don't stop the flow, don't get special treatment and all that stuff. And that's coming from a place, mate. That's coming from a place that makes sense and will. Yeah, that'll come up, not your specific thing, and no need for any deeper exploration of vulnerability from you, but the needs that are underneath our emotions are a really important thing for us to deal with, and we're going to talk about that.
What are we talking about then?
Well, let's talk about The Notebook first.
Oh, let's talk about The Notebook. Sorry, the movie. Yes,
sorry,
The Notebook.
The Notebook. What did you think?
I hadn't watched it in 15 years or something.
So when did it come out?
2004.
Yeah,
it's 21 years on.
Yeah.
He doesn't age. He was pretty young in it. He was pretty young.
Yeah, he'd been in a bunch of stuff, but it was right off the back of Remember the Titans.
Yeah, you love it. Any chance for you to mention Remember the Titans? We could be talking about Denzel Washington, the modern film, and go, hey, you remember the Titans? Petey? Have you watched Scrubs recently, Petey? You love Remember the Titans.
I just connected with it. Like my best mate in that period was a Lebanese guy who was quite dark skinned, and I think because it was like two guys and stuff, we used to roll around like that. We were like that with so many things. We were like, we're going to be cops together. We'll be fight crime together. Like we were from prep to like mid-20s. It was like, a most platonic, closest intimate relationship in for the first 20 years of my life. And so we had this special bond over those type of movies where there'd be like, the African-American guy who's like really tough because he was really tough and strong and confident, and I was like the dorky white dude. So, I have this strong connection. But and obviously McAdams, another movie we've done off the back of Mean Girls.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, Mean Girls. Yeah.
So
that's right. It's so weird that she's the mean girl in that.
Yeah, and then because what did you think? Did you like it or not like it? It's mate. It's okay.
Look, I much enjoyed the second half. The first half, I was like, it was pretty long.
It's long, isn't it?
I thought it was good. I thought it was good. I was like, I wasn't enjoying it, I'll be honest. I messaged you. I was like, oh. This is 2 hours. I was like, it could be a little bit less. Like, I feel so rude to these people that make these movies.
I wouldn't feel too bad, mate. They made millions of it.
They made $115 million on a $29 million budget.
Wow.
So they did very well. No, it wasn't that it was long.
Sorry.
85, I think. Anyway, I just, now that I'm reflecting about it, I did like it more than I probably let on.
Yeah.
And I had some fun with the final scene. I sent you that photo with holding the hands.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Which was, it was good. What did you think?
So I remember watching it. I remember it being like, some people would say it's the best, like, romantic movie, ever written. Like Nicholas Sparks, that we were talking about, 11 of his books got turned into movies. So I'm going to start writing romantic novels. I'm just going to chase fame. I'm just going to give up. My therapist has helped me say it's all about fame, Billy. Just go for it.
Feed the beast, feed the fire.
Anyway, I think it brought up a few things from my childhood.
What?
So the lighthearted, more less heavy topic stuff was. I was, how he's so I think Gosling and McAdams make it a good movie because their acting is phenomenal. Phenomenal. The chemistry they have. A lot of it ended up being real chemistry. I don't know if you know the story.
It did end up being real chemistry. It wasn't at the start though. Did you know that?
Yeah.
They hated each other. They used to want to read separately.
Yeah. And then you see them coming in. There was a funny bit about Gosling and the dude, the older guy that plays him, because Gosling's like supposedly was really trained actor and really cares about his craft and all that kind of stuff. And so he's done all these like Hollywood movies, but he's done all this amazing art house stuff as well. And it's supposedly Garner was just so rude to him because he'd like go up and be like, what are we going to do about the fact that we've got different coloured eyes? Who's going to wear the contact lenses? And he was like, get away from me.
Get away from me, kid.
Get away from me, kid. So, but it's interesting. So people probably all know the story. He's like a, wrong side of the tracks kind of guy. Doesn't come from wealth, and McAdams is wealthy. I don't know if you had this. I had a high school girlfriend whose parents didn't say it behind my back. They said it to my face, you're trash. Like, get away from our daughter, stay away from her. And I still remember that. I also had an adult relationship dad who took me for a drive once. The only bad relationship I've had. The dad was this farmer, took me for a drive to drive me past the gun club he used to shoot at.
I didn't say the abattoir.
Wasn't too hidden a message.
No.
And this is where I'd hide a body.
Oh, God.
So I took the message. But the other thing, the more powerful thing about this movie is it has a really unhealthy depiction of conflict and of what relationships are like.
Yeah.
And we are so in love because, I'm so passionate about you. That's why we fight so much. And I don't know about you, that's how I grew up. I grew up as a kid with conflict in the house the entire time and have unrepairable relationships now with family because of that, because of overcompensation of protecting relationships because not wanting that conflict, and I remember I talked about this in the pod, I think, or at a talk I did. I remember recently Evie was blowing up and I followed her into the room.
You told me.
It happened to me growing up. Like, that's what it was like. It was like it's just normal to scream at each other. And it's like an intensity of a relationship. And then you kind of go, lucky that, my relationships were never like that. But it kind of, I think, frame shifts a lot of people to go, it's normal to just scream at each other in a relationship. Do you know what I mean? And I know you're not like that, but it's interesting to think about that setup. And then we know divorce rates, for example, are so high, and thinking about what is our frame of what is a healthy relationship. Let's talk about a romantic one. A lot of that gets built in your girls watching you and Henry now and my kids watching me and Annalise. And I've got to remember that it's not us sitting down and going, now, guys, this is what a healthy relationship is. It's them watching us.
Gosh,
we had one time where Annalise and I got heated in front of Evie, and it was hard, man. I don't know if I told you about this. She started trying to distract us and change what we were talking about. I was like, far out, I remember that.
My kids will say, stop yelling. When we're not yelling, no. One of my kids is pretty sensitive. I'll give you yelling. And we'll be talking passionately about something, and they'll be like, stop yelling. I'm like, we both look and go, this isn't yelling. You weren't in the 80s. This isn't. But maybe in there, maybe they're not used to it. I've got to be careful, yeah.
Well, beautiful.
Maybe I do. Maybe
I'm
not perfect.
We'll talk. Oh, mate.
It's not even a maybe, really.
I was going to say, you're as close as anyone's come. But yeah, so it's this interesting thing, I think, that this movie does about like what is a relationship, what is conflict, how do you show someone you care about them. And obviously there's this manipulation stuff. There is one redeeming feature of it where he just wants her to be happy and he's like, go, and he kind of connects as well. Like the one thing is that he sees her, and that's why he's like, how long has it been since you've been painting and stuff like that? So he sees who she is, and she's kind of classic, which still obviously happened in 2025. Everyone makes decisions for her, so she has no ability through most of the movie to connect with what emotions she's experiencing and what need is underneath them.
Which leads to the very famous scene of like, what do you want? Which has been memed 1,000 times. It's like, what do you want?
Yeah, there's some really powerful.
What do you want?
I forgot to tell you when I was meant to quote at you at the start of talking about the movie. If you're a bird, Nick, I'm a bird. Because you know that. Do you remember that bit?
No.
Where she's like, just imagine you're a bird and you come back. And it's like a beautiful moment on the beach. God, were you actually watching?
Oh, the bit on the beach. I think I was sitting there going to Henry at that stage. I was like, oh, like what? I feel bad. But I was like sitting there going, yeah, this romance. Okay, we know they're romantically involved. Like it was great. No, it was great, that part. That part I was like, oh.
The funny thing is,
it looks so cold.
You are a romantic guy.
No.
Just no.
I think maybe Henry was looking at this would have been nice. I'm like, oh, yeah.
You're just like, look at these idiots being nice to each other.
Yeah. You need a 2 mil wetsuit. I need about 4 layers of sunscreen to do this scene.
But yeah, so it's anyway. So we'll come back to a scene. But I think that is why I've chosen this movie, because it's so like it became a cult movie, huge cult movie.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah, so it did well, but also it, and it understandably has some criticisms about some of the things it depicts in it, including Alzheimer's. But I think it does have some beautiful things in it, but it also has some really unhealthy representations of what relationships look like, especially in conflict.
Just low key, do you know who Rachel had to beat out of the role?
No.
And she only got the role the day before.
Who?
Before they started shooting. Jessica Biel.
Oh, really?
Britney Spears.
Britney.
Reese Witherspoon. She would have been great.
Should have been great.
And Ryan beat out Tom Cruise.
Cruise ship.
Tom.
Wow.
Yeah, the cruise ship.
Yeah, wow.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
There you go.
Different movie if Cruise is
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
Because Gosling is great. Just both of them. You know, both of them are really good at non-verbal facial expression, subtle acting.
I actually so while I didn't necessarily love the film, as individuals, I love both of them.
Same.
Him in Drive. I don't know how we can do Drive, but can you find one?
We can. A non-parental adult. He's really protective of that boy.
Yep. Okay. Can we please Drive?
Yeah, I love that movie.
God, I love that movie.
Yeah.
The soundtrack.
Yeah.
Kavinsky.
Yeah. Soundtrack.
So good.
Yeah. Just how he is.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. And
then
generally
McAdams. I was madly in love with her in Wedding Crashes.
She's fantastic.
Yeah.
She's just great.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
Anyway.
And she's got phenomenal dimples.
Like you.
Thank you. I was going to be sure.
Okay,
You probably used to. 3.5 years in, you realise.
Can't see, guys. If you're not watching a film, he's pointing to his own mention.
Anyway, so let's get to topic. Because,
What's the topic?
how are we going? Time-wise, we're not too bad, actually.
Okay, great.
So, topic is conflict resolution.
Oh, handy.
Handy.
Between kids or between partners or both?
Yeah, what's kids?
Yourself.
Bang.
Oh, I just thought there was only one left.
Yes, nailing it. Nailing it.
Oh.
Are you contractually obligated to do this with me? Because you're maybe at the point where you could do it without me.
Okay, conflict resolution. We haven't done this.
Yeah, we haven't done it. We need
this.
to. We need it. Yeah, we need it. So it's a big one.
What's conflict?
Well, yeah, what is conflict?
Opposing opinions.
Yeah.
Opposing views.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not on the same page. I'm just going to keep talking till you give the answer.
Inner turmoil.
Inner turmoil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, conflicted. I'm conflicted.
Because how often do you reckon you get... Yes, she's hugely conflicted.
Constantly.
Yeah.
I think it's because I got a bit of empathy.
Yeah.
Would that
great.
drive a bit of it?
Yeah.
Because I'm always trying to think.
Have we talked on the pod about when kids develop empathy? Have we done that in the pod? I do it in the talks.
Oh, we do it. Yeah, we have. Where they do something for the kid next to them in the experiment. Is that it?
Yeah.
I shouldn't be so flippant with someone's brilliant research. Yeah, they're fine.
No, but it's an important part about it because one of the criticisms of what we're going to talk about is that when can you teach kids conflict resolution?
I'm fascinated to also know how this is different or works in with things like when they're dysregulated.
Bang, yeah.
Like, because then you've got to co-regulate, but that's not, is that resolution? Like, here we go. This is,
Yeah, so we'll end on the kids. We'll end on the kids.
I'm smelling a three-parter. Lots of questions.
Yeah. Hopefully. So yeah, I always feel like I've nailed it if questions come in. Thank you always to that one person who says they liked it because it sustains me.
Guys.
So lots of big part of our lives, big part of my daily life. You reckon it's part of your daily life, conflict?
Yeah.
Yeah. And who do you have the most conflict with, yourself or other people?
Myself and my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it depends what you're going to find conflict as now, because I'll be like, I have argy-bargy stoush shits constantly with the kids, but like...
Yeah. And what
Can we go
about...
to the pool? I'm like, no.
What would you do with potential conflict with an adult? If you can think about, you don't have to tell us it, but if you think about the last time, yeah. And why are you avoiding it?
Because of my empathy. I don't want to hurt someone's feelings. I don't always.
What about if it's the cost of your own?
Oh, I don't like that.
What do you do then?
Resolve. Hash it out.
Okay. How do you hash it out?
Through words.
Okay. How do you do that?
I would probably say I'd probably try and get really clear with them on where they're coming from on a certain point so I understand it clearly and then explain my side of the story.
Yeah, okay. So you feel like you do have a framework?
I don't apply it. I just try and barge through.
Well, firstly, when do you decide whether you're going to use a framework or whether you're going to avoid?
When I catch myself, which I don't do.
So you catch yourself and don't avoid?
I don't catch myself. Like everyone, I'm 1,000 miles an hour. I've got a lot going on, Billy. A full-time job. Kids need to be picked up and dropped off. Different locations.
Yeah.
Got meetings, got stuff. Find it hard. But I try to be
so what will determine if you use your framework? Yeah.
Yeah.
Capacity.
My capacity.
Yeah. And who taught you that framework?
I don't have a formal framework. Yeah, I was going to say.
Do you reckon work? Do you reckon you got some training somewhere?
Yeah, definitely I've got some training on how to give feedback. Yeah, I've got a framework for feedback. Yeah, from work. Yeah, totally.
Do you have one? Do you reckon you got your conflict resolution one from there?
Nah, don't have one for work.
Try and get. What did you say? You try and get perspective of. You try and get clear on where the other person's coming from, and then what was your second step?
Oh no, so my work one's different. My work one's like specifically pointing out an occasion where something's happened. Communicating how that sounded or came across, its impact, and then just let it sit with the person and they chat about it, and then sort of hash it out from there. Like just to be really specific about something. So you're not attacking the person, you're talking about a specific situation. Like, hey.
You do that with your kids?
I told them last night I was short on patience. It was the end of a long day. So it's been a big day, girls. I am. I didn't say running out of patience. I said, what did I say? I said, girls, I'm getting to that point where I just said it, girls. Because we made deals and deals were broken. And you're like,
well, mate, I'm going to give you the path out.
Okay, let me out. Because last night they made a deal and they backpedaled and went separate ways, and it all fell apart. And Dad said, "There's been promises made."
For any listeners that don't know, how old are your kids?
It's so hot.
How old are the girls? Just to remind
4
people.
and 6.
Yeah.
Promise, mate. They were articulate. We can rewatch.
Oh, yeah, they're bright, gorgeous
We can
kids.
rewatch this part of this show.
Yeah.
Rewatching the Anzac Day footy game opening ceremony. Not opening ceremony. Important ceremony where there's the national anthems because they love it.
Yeah.
The last
and what
person,
was that? Was that? What did you get out of it? What was what they put on the table? No, as in what deal was broken?
Oh, I just said we can watch this, but it's straight to bed afterwards.
Yeah.
Not straight to bed. I'll get the books, whatever. And then it went, and someone just was like, "There's your contract, old man." I went, "Please move to the bedroom." She was tummy down on the couch, like not communicating.
Beautiful. God, it's a great
And
one.
I
We're going to use it.
said, mate,
Why do you think it failed?
I don't know.
Do you want a better framework
Yep.
for next time?
How to set the deal or
Both.
resolve? Okay, tell me.
Yeah.
It's the same. This scenario's going to come up tonight in my house. Can we watch that? You can, but you got to go to bed afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay, it's typical. It's pretty typical. So what do you do?
Yeah, so let's talk about this. There's heaps of great literature, and we'll only be able to cover maybe one of them, but let's cover one that relates to what you were just talking about. There's a guy who just passed away a few years ago called Marshall Rosenberg. He's an American psychiatrist who has worked in the nonviolent communication space. He's written books about it. He's got expertise, obviously, in training, which we really value in this space, but also he's got a lot of experience in like war zones, talking to tribal leaders that like massacred the other person's tribe, and he goes in and has to get them to resolve their conflicts. Does a lot of stuff with kids.
What's non-violent communication, sorry?
Beautiful question. So nonviolent communication comes from the premise that we can actually resolve a lot of our differences without aggression, threats, accusations, judgments, all of that. And Marshall would argue that most of the violence that occurs in the world in terms of in family homes and on large-scale war conflict is because of how poorly we communicate with each other.
Yep.
And he has a framework that he has built. He's also very dry. So if anyone goes and checks him out, there's a lot of content of his online, which is amazing. He's like everyone. He's not a perfect human, but he's got some really amazing stuff where he delivers. Like, so he's talking with these, like, so I'll promise I'll give the framework, but there's just some funny stuff about it. He talks about how there's, like, he changes it a little bit, but there's wolf language or jackal language, which is like aggression, hostility. You'll do what I want because I'll say. Threats, punishments, demands. We'll talk about demands, and you made a demand last night, which is where you failed a bit. You possibly should have made a request. Do you know what the difference between a demand and a request is?
Do you think after we watch this, you guys can go to bed?
Yeah. So what's the difference between a demand and a request?
I'm not giving them an out. I'm being inflexible.
Yeah.
And a request is asking for them and their buy-in or their
They're
approval.
choosing to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're choosing to do it. Now think about life. What's one of the things that sucks about life? Lots of things. All the things that you have to do
That you don't
you're
want to
only
do.
doing because you think you have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people, that would be work.
Yeah.
When does that start in life?
Oh, when you ask them to put their shoes on or go to bed,
Yeah.
starts there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
Does
how
it
can you
always
get
need
around
to
it?
be like that?
Well,
Why do you think this?
obviously for 7 years I've thought, or 44 years I've thought it's had to be like that.
Why do you think there's so many teenagers that don't want to go to school anymore? Because they don't care about it.
Because they've been told you have to go to school?
Yeah.
Because I say that shit.
Because they never intrinsically were pitched as a request
Okay.
and found a reason why they wanted to go and chose to be at school because it benefited them.
Okay.
We don't do it all the time, but we've got to build opportunities for kids because kids have underlying needs, and often when their emotions boil up and struggle, it's because those needs aren't met, such as last night, having a sense of autonomy.
Right.
And the girls didn't have that. So it's not like, it's not permissive parenting. It's not like,
But I
just
thought
go to
I
bed whenever you
was.
want.
But I thought I was like,
Totally. But when conflict arose, which is what we're going to talk about,
Yeah.
there's another path which you should try, and it's evidence-based and developmentally appropriate and all that kind of stuff. And you can do it from quite a young age, that we'll talk about, that I do with Evie now. And she's,
So
for listeners,
it's probably not to say, well, we can't ever do this again.
No. So why is that bad?
Because then I'm sort of shooting myself in the foot next time because then I'll let them have it again.
Yeah.
And so it didn't really mean anything.
It's conditional support, and it's you will do it because there is a punishment. And it's also these guys, including Marshall Rosenberg, would say praise is not good either. And we'll do a separate topic probably on rewards, but his argument is that you
do?
You never challenge who the kid is.
I know, I'm trying to work on that at the moment. Don't challenge who the kid is. That's important. I can see why that's important.
Yeah. So you raised a really good point. So he does this amazing stuff. So let me just tell you very quickly. So the African tribal leaders, he goes in, they've like decimated each other's crowds. He talks about jackal language and like they shout across, you're murderers, you murdered all our people. It's like heavy emotive threats, judgments, accusations, all that stuff. And we do that at a much lower level. And then the other guys, and he talks about instead giraffe language. And giraffe language is, he says giraffes because it's all about thinking from the heart, and giraffes are the land mammals with the biggest heart. And he says you've got to have giraffe language and understand what is the need that is underneath the person who's like, you guys are murderers. And that's how you will find that path back about what is it. And I'll step through the way that he does it. But he literally is in like he goes into refugee camps and stuff, and they're like, he's American and he's a murderer and all this stuff. And he can listen to it and not take it personally. It's this beautiful thing that I'm so jealous of him. But this is how we do this work, because he puts on literally costume giraffes. So he's in like East Africa in a village, two guys going at each other. He puts them on. Does it in the refugee camp, does it in the school. He's so dry that one of the schools he talks about, they were like, there's all the teenagers here are smashing all the windows. We don't know what to do about it. He's like, what's your goal? And he's like, they don't smash the windows. He's like, I've got a perfect solution.
Get rid of the windows?
No, he's like, kill them.
Oh, okay.
But his point is like, that's not what you actually want. That's not what any of us want.
Okay.
You last night watching the thing, you want connection and partnership.
Yep.
Now, the jackal language he talks about is authority, hierarchy. I make the call here, not you. And that's what we know is the authoritarian parenting that fails and leads to kids not having that inner sense of motivation, of worth, intrinsically driven towards things, and having a voice. So let's talk about his steps, because they're really helpful. And then we might even role play one with you and me, and then one as a kid. So first step is observation of what happened. I said this, and then you said that. Quotes.
I said you could watch this and you'd go to bed.
Yeah. I've asked you to go to bed and you've said you're not going to bed. It's not you're not listening to me, you're disrespecting me, you went back on an agreement we made, you're being rude to me. All of those things are unhelpful and will stuff up any opportunity of conflict resolution.
Okay.
So you don't do that. Then, second step, there's 7 steps, but it gets easy because the first 3 and the last 3 are the same.
Okay.
Second step is this is how I felt.
Yeah.
One of your daughters didn't make you feel like that. You chose to feel like that.
Yeah.
And I felt angry.
Yep.
Third thing is, this is the need that is not being met underneath it.
Control.
Or love.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Sorry, yes.
Yeah, lots of different needs. There's lots of different needs.
Yeah.
Sense of belonging, lots of different needs.
Yeah.
Safety, security, creativity, like lots of those things they talk about. Then the trick is you make a very specific request. I would really appreciate it if you did this. And it can never be, I would really appreciate it if you stopped doing that. Stopped hitting, stopped swearing at me, stopped trying to punch me, stopped throwing rocks through glasses, through windows. I would really appreciate it if you did this. Now, the trick is the specific request is not a demand, and we're not even talking about consequences on the other side of it, and you give the kid the opportunity to do it. Now, you're not waiting to praise them. You're waiting to then do the first 3 steps again. You listened to me, and you got up, and you went and brushed your teeth. That made me feel really good inside because we succeeded together at something, and it met my need of love and connection with you. And that genuine celebration of succeeding in a moment of conflict will rewire both of your brains to be better at it the next time it comes up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So let's do it for us.
Just give me the quick 3 steps again. Need.
No.
No observation.
Observation, emotion,
Emotion.
need. Specific request. If it's
I
exceed.
asked you not to hit your sister, and you hit your sister. That made me scared and angry.
I felt.
I
not
felt
made.
scared.
You don't want the kid to feel like they made. They didn't make you feel
I
anything.
felt really scared when I saw how upset she was. And
What's your need underneath
what do
it?
I need? I need you two to get along. No,
Why do you need them to get along?
I need you
What's below
to
that?
show how much you love each other.
Yeah, what's below that?
I need you to be nice to. Oh, I don't know what.
I can try
Help
and
me.
guess for you.
Tell me.
I need to be in a family where everyone feels loved and is loved.
Yeah, I need to be in a family where everyone feels safe.
Yeah, beautiful, even better. Cool. What's your specific request? And it's not, don't stop hitting your sister.
I would like it if you two didn't. No, I'd love it if you two could play gently for the next hour.
Yeah, as specific as possible and tighter than that.
I'd like until lunchtime for you guys to play outside without hitting each other again.
Yeah, okay.
Time constraint.
Let's
I don't
just
know, tell
pause
me.
there for a sec. It's beautiful.
Tell me.
What's going to happen if you do that? And they go, okay, run outside. If you're a gambling man,
They might hit each other again.
yeah, how'd you stop that from happening?
I'll go out there.
Yeah, what can you do on the request to stop that from happening?
I'm going to come out there and help you play before lunchtime so you don't hit each other.
Yeah, you
No.
don't want any part of it to be stop doing something. So what you might say is what I would really like, and it would make me really happy, is if I go get that puzzle that you haven't had a look at yet, I put it down on the ground in the kitchen while I'm doing the dishes, and you show your little sister how good you are and teach her how to do a puzzle.
Okay.
It's tight, it's achievable, it's scaffolded, you're observing, it's really specific, you can reinforce it in the moment, and they do it. Look at that. You showed her how to do the puzzle and she's better at it now. I feel so happy and warm inside because it's helped me feel like we all love each other and support
Gotcha.
each other in this house.
Gotcha.
Bang. So let's do it for us. You okay? You good with the kid
Yeah,
one?
I need a top. Yeah, go.
Yep. Well, let's just make one up. I'm really pissed off, mate. I've been saying how much I want to hang out with you heaps, and you're really disrespecting me because you haven't been wanting to see me, and it makes me feel really crap. And you know how important relationships are to me, and I'm really pissed off that you just don't respect me. And I seem to be the least important person in your life.
Okay. You sound like you're pretty upset with me because we haven't caught up recently.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're
I'll
doing
do
a
it. I'll
beautiful
give you the
thing.
shitty one, and then you tell me. No,
No, so how could I do that better?
Oh,
I'll give that
I was
to you.
about to.
You will do active listening, which is what you're doing.
I was going to be the one that's like,
Yeah.
you're okay.
Because how did you feel? How did you feel when I said that?
Hey, recently you've cancelled a couple of times. Recently we've had plans to catch up a few times, and you've cancelled with me. So I'm playing what the thing that you
beautiful.
just gave. Yeah, we'll do it this way.
Great. Because how did you feel when I did it before?
Yeah, I was attacked.
Yeah.
And I was
Is it-
like, oh, we're going to have it out.
You're going to go home and text me and say, let's catch up for a beer?
No.
And if you did, why would you do it? Would you do it
Fear.
because you're choosing to do it? Yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. So that's the teachers at school that are like, you'll get another suspension if you keep doing that.
Stop it. All right, that's me. Okay, what?
So which is like not
Okay.
a lot of teachers are like that.
Hey, we've had a couple of catch-ups in the diary recently, and on 2 occasions you've cancelled those.
Beautiful.
I love the time I spend with you because it's always good to have a beer and unwind, and it does wonders for my mental health. The need bit throws me.
How did you feel when I cancelled?
Yeah, I felt pretty ordinary when you cancelled because I felt like you don't like me, and I need to. And I'd if I'm gonna hang out, well, I need to know my mates really like me. I'm fucking this up.
You're not at all.
I'm swearing as well today.
So if I was saying, so if
You
I
do
was,
it, you do it,
yeah.
you do
So
it,
if
you
I
do
said
it.
to you, I would say, hey mate. So setting is important for this stuff as well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't railroad you like with other mates around and make sure you have the time and space and all that stuff. So we'll
Yeah.
talk about that maybe next time. But in the scripted approach to it, what we would be saying is, hey, I messaged you last week saying let me know over time to catch up for a beer in the next fortnight, and I haven't heard back from you yet.
Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah.
It just makes me feel sad and like I'm inadequate because I have this need underneath of having really rich relationships and feeling loved by the people that are in my life.
Yeah.
Would it be okay if you have a look today and see one time that works for you that we could catch up in the next week for a beer? Then you text me, we have a beer, and at the beer, I say I really loved it, how you texted me to say that this night worked, made me feel really happy and gave me something to look forward to, and it met my need to have beautiful people and relationships in my life and feel loved.
Gotcha.
Bang.
Gotcha.
Now, in a lot of moments in life, we don't have the depth of relationship that we have together, but think about it. Like I find myself quite easily agitated in everyday life.
Yeah.
Like way more than you, I suspect, because you're just a calmer, nicer, greater empathy.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah.
I can roll around and be like, scream at someone because they don't pick up after their dog. And I have 3 dysfunctional coping mechanisms like a lot of people.
What happened?
Overcompensation, avoidance, anger. That's what I've learned in conflict. I avoid, I overcompensate and take all the blame, or I get angry. Why do we avoid, as little kids and as adults, why do we avoid or overcompensate and take the blame?
Because the
What are we afraid of?
repercussion.
Yeah, and what's the repercussion? What's the most devastating thing that can happen to us?
Someone might love you.
Yeah, the loss of a relationship.
Loss of
We are
relationship.
social beings. It's why we've survived for thousands of years. We are innately built neurologically to fear separation from people. That's why people stay in unhealthy relationships where people abuse them and neglect them, because the threat of being alone and losing that social connection is worse than having a healthy way of resolving conflicts where you say, I can't be treated like this anymore. So when I'm rolling around, I can either avoid it and shut it down and bury it, guide it. It upsets me when people, just for an example, don't pick up after their dog. I can overcompensate and just pick it up myself, and like if they see me, just apologising and say, I know you missed it and all that stuff because I just really don't want conflict. Or I can get angry and shout at them. Or I can use nonviolent communication to say, hey, I just noticed you didn't pick up after your dog. There's no threat in it. There's no accusation in it. There's no, you don't care about this place. It's really disrespectful. Who do you think you are? Because none of these things work, do they? They don't change. No one goes, oh my God, you're right, stranger. Like, how bad a person am I? Tell me how to be a better one. You know, that doesn't work. I noticed that. It just makes me feel a bit angry because, you know, I think it's really beautiful around here. And I'm not saying that you did it intentionally, but it'd be really great if it was picked up and they can go get stuffed or whatever. But what I'm trying to do is connect with them and say that. And then it's a request. It's not a demand. And it's really important that I frame it like that. I don't put any tension in it. I don't say, if you don't do it, I'm going to do this. I'm going to tell someone. I'm going to tell you how much of a piece of crap you are. And then if they do it, I just go, mate, that's awesome. Thank you for doing that specific thing. Made me feel really good because I think this is a really beautiful place.
I like this.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? So that process is one that is trying to empower, because what really matters through childhood development is that kids don't get taught a couple of those steps, do they? They don't get taught to be objective observers of what's happening. So say the girls have a fight. You don't want to go, she was really mean and she stole it out of your hands. You go, you were holding the ball and she took it. That's it. Do you know what I mean? There's no accusation in it. There's no picking a side. There's no who's at fault, whatever. That probably felt really crummy because you probably weren't finished with it yet. Once again, it's nothing to do with the other kid. And I know it's really important for you that you get to play with the toys until you finish with them. Wouldn't it be really cool if your sister gave it back to you, handed it back to you gently, because I know, and I know you do this, because I know that in a couple of minutes you'll be finished and then you can hand it to her and she'll get to have that enjoyment. She hands it back, plays with it a couple of minutes, bang. What I really liked was that you handed it back to your sister, she played with it a couple of minutes, and then she gave it to you and you thanked her. It made me feel really good because I know as a family we really love each other and I want us to always feel like that and keep working on treating each other better.
What if they don't?
It's a request, it's not a demand.
Okay. And then what if they don't?
If they, and it gets worse and they stop doing it and they fight more and they snatch off each other more, what do you do then?
Confiscate the ball?
No.
No. Well, I don't know. What do you do? I'm serious.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, guys, you can't get along.
Yeah, the stretch is too much. There'll be a reason.
And sorry.
decrease.
No, well, I was.
I know you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't be like, well, the ball's gone.
The ball's gone. No, because it doesn't work. Because then they're still, then they're just fighting
Pick
each
something
other.
else. Yeah, exactly.
So I'd go in and play with them.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah.
And guide them more.
Catch them earlier, and you'd increase the support and drop the demand. And then you would stretch them to resolve conflict slightly more independently in greater levels of difficulty and make sure they keep succeeding at it.
Mm-hmm.
You had a really good question at the start that I didn't address. When they're dysregulated, this doesn't work.
Okay. Yep.
You have to regulate them first.
Yep.
And then you help them learn. So we started talking about this. Kids do not learn when they're growing up how to be objective observers, how to actually talk about their feelings without blaming someone else, without saying, I'm angry because you're a jerk. That's not true. I'm angry because you don't care about me. I don't know the reason you've done that thing. I can't guess. I can't read your mind. All I can talk about is my feelings. And then try and learn what is the need that's underneath it. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Hopefully I've stepped through that well. That's just one. There's other models we can use.
No,
but I
love it.
I think Marshall's non-violent communication one is a good one to help us think about how do we actually get down in our own relationships, in those like what our kids are observing between our partners, also how we're supporting our kids when they're with other kids, and also how we're dealing with conflict. And I came back from very quickly before we go to the scene. I came back from the gym the other morning, constantly feel like I'm neglecting the kids to go to the gym. I don't get much time with them. When I walk back in, and Evie's sitting there. She wasn't awake when I left. Leave at like 6:30, and she gets up and she's awake. She's just woken up when I walk in the door. She sees me. I was like, "Hey, gorgeous! It's so exciting to see you. How you going?" She's like, "Get away from me." First thing she says to me, you know, and I'm just like,
Why'd you do that?
well, for me, it's like reinforcing. The reason she probably did it, which we'll step it through, the reason she probably did it is because I'm not around much, and I'm constantly, like you're probably like this a bit too, I'm constantly just separating from them. Yeah. You know, to run the dog, to go to the gym, to go to work, to do the podcast, to do all these things. Like I don't have a lot of time where they're just like, let's go do this. And I'm like, sweet. I'm always tight pockets of pressure. And so she was probably like, oh, now you're available, eh? Do you know what I mean? She wants autonomy. She's feeling a bit annoyed, all of that stuff. Now I could have been like, that's really rude, Evie. That really hurt my feelings. That's so mean to be like that to me. And even worse, punished her. What's the worst punishment I could have done to her then?
Taking your love away.
Bang. So I don't do that. I try really hard to never do that. I never withdraw my love from my kids or the people I care about. I've done that in the past. I've done that with friendships where I feel insecure and I go, screw you then. So I didn't do that. I just said, I walked in the door, really excited to see you, and said hi, and you said, get away. Makes me feel sad because I have this need of the time that I have with you. I want it just to be fun and joy and celebrate you and for you to know how much I love you. Would it be okay if I sit down next to you and you and I read this book together and enjoy it? Now, 2 scenarios. Let's play both of them. No, get away from me. It's okay. I'm going to give you some space. I'm listening to you. Not threatening her, not hostility, not showing her how pissed off I am. She's allowed as a 3-year-old to be annoyed that I'm just rolling in and out all the time with pressure. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm not making her a little brat or something like that by doing that. I'm understanding where she's at developmentally. The other thing is she sits down. She goes, yeah, okay. Reluctantly, sit down, make the book fun. At the end of the book, 4 minutes later, I asked if I could sit down and read the book with you. Made me feel awesome when you said yes, because I love sitting and spending time with you, and it helps me feel how much I love you.
Okay, I'm going to have a lot of opportunities to do this one.
But yeah, it's good, but I don't know what you think about it.
No, I love the model. I'm going to get that. Like, I get it. Like the observation, how it makes you feel, the need, the ask, and then repeating it all back. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to like get a bunch of different scenarios, like 5 or 10, and just like map them and just so I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just think about how much am I forcing kids to do this, and how much am I building that into the world, which is one of the worst things about our lives, and thinking about, actually, you don't need to go to school. I want you to want to go to school. I think I said this on the pod. I had a mum who was like, oh, school's just one of those things you have to do it.
Yeah, but I've said that.
At school.
I mean, I don't say it all the time, but like, I'm like...
Yeah, so I think it's okay when you're like, occasionally you're like, you got to get in the car. I know you don't want to. You got to do this. But being like, you have to go to school, or you have to say sorry. We haven't spoken about that. You do not have to say sorry. You do not have to say thank you. Like Evie, you came in today and I gave her an opportunity to say thank you for the presents. I did not force her to you. And I told her why. Because it was going to make you. Yeah. And I cued her for it this morning because I was like, because it will help Uncle Nick feel really good.
Oh, I see what you've done there. Because you know what I'm really worried about?
Mm-hmm. I know what you can say, but say it.
Compliance.
Yeah.
Teaching compliance.
Yeah, what are you worried about it? I'm worried about it too.
I'm worried about it.
Yeah.
Because I want a really, like everyone, I want a respectful, well-mannered child, but I don't want them to just say yes.
Yeah. How do you teach a kid respect?
I feel like this is a trick question.
You give it to them first.
Okay, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, totally.
I was.
Yeah, totally. I believe
give the show, but I'm like, yeah, I know. It's the only way to. I know because we've talked about this, but it's the only way. I want my kid to respect me. You're like, wow.
So you feel it first, don't you?
Yeah, totally.
And then you teach them how to do that, just the same as you ride a bike. You teach them how to read, all those things. You don't give them the lecture or put pressure on them when they stuff it up, or just tell them. It's like swimming, isn't it? You don't go, well, you swing your arms like this and you kick your legs really hard and you just go sort it out, and they get in the pool and they're like, why are you not doing it?
No, it doesn't work.
Yeah, but you get in there with them, don't you? You make it fun,
Totally.
Graduated, heaps of support, little demand, move those levers. It's really important. But no, compliance is like one of the biggest failings of what our society does. It says it takes away your ability to express your feelings and your needs, and says you'll do this because you have to.
Yeah.
And it's awful.
I worry about that.
And it just reinforces authority structures.
Yeah.
Tell people what they need and what they feel, what they deserve. And the only people that know that are the individuals themselves.
Yep.
And we should listen more. We haven't even spoken about active listening, but I'll bank it. Because we're probably too far in.
Let's go.
Let's do the scene.
Do the scene.
So it's the scene. It's the scene you mentioned. It's
what do you want?
The famous scene. Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah. And I'm going to think about what we've spoken about when you listen to the scene. But for those people who haven't seen it or haven't seen it in a long time, she's been gone for a long time. They're separated because they had a falling out. They had a classic teenage breakup. If you drive away, wherever, forever. Yeah. Ultimatums, like all
Summer
that bad
love
stuff we
done.
do.
They're going back to the
Why don't we
city.
just break up now?
Yeah.
If it's going to happen. So all ultimatum stuff, all the bad stuff we do in relationships, including with our kids. If you do this, this is going to happen. Consequences, punishments, all that stuff. They've done this all to each other the whole time. They're justifying how normal conflict is because we're so passionate and all this stuff. And they've been gone away for a long time from each other. They've reconnected after years. She's repartnered with the guy who plays Cyclops out of X-Men. I can't remember his name.
So good looking.
Yeah. And he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Oh my God, he didn't deserve the cards he got dealt. He did nothing wrong.
Yeah, totally. Totally. I just love him hitting on her in the full body cast.
It's a bold play.
But anyway, I'm just not sure if there's any medical injury that puts you in a full body cast. So it was hard not to criticise it when
threw plaster at him. They were bored.
You've broken every bone in your body. So,
except this one.
Yeah, we're going to put you in an entire body cast. Anyway, so and they've reconnected and they've hooked up. And she's come back and he's trying to figure out, like they're trying to figure out where they land. And this is a woman who as a girl was like, my parents have told me this is the school that I'm going to go to. My parents have told me not to be in a relationship with you. They've told me this is the type of person I'll be with. So yeah, classic like compliance stuff that you're talking about. And let's play the scene.
Do it.
What are you going to do, Al? We're back to that. Are we back there? What about the past couple of days? They happened, you know?
I know that they happened and they were wonderful, but they were also very irresponsible. I have a fiance waiting for me at a hotel who's going to be crushed when he finds out
So you make
what I
love
did.
to me, and then you go back to your husband? Was that your plan? Was that a test that I didn't pass?
I made a promise to a man. He gave me a ring and I gave him my word.
And your word is shot to hell now, don't you think?
I don't know. I'll find out when I talk to him.
This is not about keeping your promise, and it's not about following your heart. It's about security.
What is that supposed to mean?
Money!
What are you
He's got a lot of money!
Now I hate you, you
Well, I
slow
hate
bastard.
you. If you leave here, I hate you.
What
I hate you if you leave
paying
here.
attention to anything that's been happening
I
in the
guess
future.
not. I think I must have misread all of those
I
signals.
guess you did.
You're bored! You're bored and you know it. You wouldn't be here if there wasn't something missing.
Arrogant son of a bitch.
Would you just stay with me?
Stay with you. What for? Look at us. We're already fighting.
Well, that's what we do. We fight. You tell me when I'm being an arrogant son of a bitch, and I tell you when you're being a pain in the ass. Which you are, 99% of the time. I'm not afraid to hurt your feelings. They have like a 2-second rebound rate, and you're back doing the next pain in the ass thing.
So what?
So it's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be really hard. And we're gonna have to work at this every day, but I wanna do that because I want you. I want all of you, forever, you and me, every day. Will you do something for me? Please? You just picture your life for me? 30 years from now, 40 years from now? What's it look like? If it's with that guy, go. Go! I lost you once. I think I could do it again. If I thought it's what you really wanted. But don't you take the easy way out.
What easy way? There is no easy way. No matter what I do, somebody gets hurt.
Would you stop thinking about what everyone wants? Stop thinking about what I want, what he wants, what your parents want. What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want? God damn it, what do you want?
I have to go.
What'd you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think about, so she has internal conflict
Yeah.
and she doesn't go through much of a process of figuring it out.
Why not? Why did neither of them go through a process?
Didn't allow each other much space.
Yeah. And why are we more likely to fall into these traps with people we're close to?
Back to that one about fear of love being withdrawn.
Yeah, definitely.
No?
But
What else?
Yes, but we're more vulnerable for our emotional brain to just overwhelm us.
Yes.
And to lose like a clearer process.
Mm-hmm.
They're also like, yeah. So what are her? Well, he's a bit easier. What do you think are his feelings?
I think he's angry.
Yeah.
Because she Does he feel like he's been led on? Yeah, he feels like he's been led on for a couple of days. Like he thinks it's all going to be hunky-dory. And then she's like, I don't know about this. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yep.
And so he's like, I'm going to lose her again for a second time. She says he'll probably get over it.
So let's imagine, and he kind of has. He's the reason he started this conflict. He says, what are you going to do? So he obviously, let's very tightly say what he does. He goes, I'm really angry. You're treating me like crap. You're leading me on. You know, this is normal to fight like this. If you leave, I'm giving up on you forever. Ultimatums, all that stuff. What could he have done? Give it to me.
Could have said,
go through it.
Ali, sorry, hold on, you've got me on here. So, Ali, I actually thought after the last couple of days that this was going to be forever. And
objective observation.
Yeah.
You came back and it's been amazing.
Yeah. But it now feels like that's not going to happen, and it's got me worried and I'm scared because in my mind I want you today and every other day, and I feel like I'm about to lose you permanently.
Beautiful.
For the second time.
Amazing. No requests, no accusations. So no demands, no accusations, no blame. Great. What's a request?
Ali, I want you to picture.
Give it to us in Goslings.
Ali, honey, I would like it if you hung around for the next 30 or 40 years until we are living by the... What? No? Not specific, too broad. Okay. Prefer it if you said to me that...
What's a realistic? Think about an adult, like just think about this because it's relevant to teens. What's a realistic thing? How can you give a safe request?
I'd like you to...
Your teen's just gone, stuff you, I don't want to see you ever again. You've just gone through, this is how you've made me feel. You haven't said any accusations. This is why, because I'm scared. I'm going to lose you. Let's just think about it relevant to a teen. It's like I'm out of here.
Yeah. I'd like it if you stay with me for another week. I don't know. What do you say?
What I think is a good one is like, I can see this must be really hard. This must be really hard for you. This must be really hard for you, and you must feel really stuck. I would really appreciate it if you just gave yourself the space and time to think about this and decide what you want. And I'll support whatever you do, but I obviously have a preference. Calmly, not ultimatums, not you'll ruin my life if you do this. I'll never recover.
Again.
There'll be punishments. I'm going to withdraw my love.
Yep.
I'm so sick of you telling me to get stuffed. I'll go to bed when I tell you to. Any of that stuff.
Yep. And then after it, she takes a breather.
Yeah.
And goes, Ryan, I'm in. I would say, fantastic. Glad you made that choice. I'm really excited about the next 30 or 40 years. And it is going to make me feel like I'm not going to lose you anytime soon. And that makes me feel great. And I feel pumped for the next 30 or 40 years.
Beautiful. Amazing. Or you came back, I just want you to... I'd really appreciate it if you worked on thinking about what your own needs are and communicating with me clearly so I can support them. Is like a gentler version of like less catastrophic, less like fork in the road, you know what I mean? And that's another one with teens and primary school age kids as well. Like I just want to understand how to support you better. So we're going to work on me supporting you, expressing what your feelings are and how I can help you.
Love it. You are going to get some questions.
Yeah. Challenge. We want tricky ones. As always, reflections. Like I think a lot of us grew up with different stuff to this. A lot of us have been in unhealthy relationships. A lot of us feel like we've screwed this up, catastrophically with the kids that we support in our lives, whether young kids or teenagers. We think that it's unrepairable.
You're good at this. I've seen you do this. I think you've you've used this with me before when we've had a conflict, which is good. I'm recognising in a good way. In a good way. In a good way. I think it's really good. Like I'm like, I can see how you've done this because you're really good at discussing things. Like we sometimes.
Yeah, but I also know where my traps are. I'm very emotive. I'm very righteous. I know best.
And I think you do it for yourself as much as you do it for me. So you're like, I can't do this in a really rational, like you do it in a good way. In a good way.
Totally. We didn't even talk about that, but how we do it internally is exactly the same process. What has objectively happened? Yes. How am I internally feeling about this?
Yeah. This is leading into a compliment.
What is the need? Totally. Sorry.
And what I was going to say was, this is clearly something, because I'm finding it, I get it, but I'm finding it complex and bit thingy to step through, but you actually do this all the time. So if you do it enough, you can get used to doing this, is my point.
Well, yeah, I do it professionally as well, because one of the greatest privileges of my life professionally is that I see families that have had negative experiences with the service, with other services, and we might talk about that next time.
And you might kick it off with that.
Yeah, I build a partnership.
This is good.
I show them that they're an equal.
You're good at it.
I show them it's a privilege to meet them.
Yeah.
I show them that their feelings are valid. I try and explore what their needs are.
Yeah.
I try and, guide them towards things that they could do that would be helpful and benefit them. And mate, I'm very good at doing it. Maybe not very good. I put effort into doing it with you, my kids, and Annalise, because you're probably the four most important people in my life. Everyone else,
I appreciate it. This is how you got me.
Spectrum, I fail at it the whole time.
Hey, this is how you got me to putting chicken on my pizza.
I was blowing up about that.
It took a long time for us to arrive
all
on
Annalise's family were here. They got the barbecue chicken for me, and guess which one got eaten first?
It's always the first.
But everyone makes fun of it.
I reckon for like 3 sessions when we first got together, you're like, can we get chicken pizza? I was like, no, we can't.
Yeah.
And then eventually I got it, and yes. So, yes, you did a good job.
Nick, I've asked every time for barbecue chicken pizza. It makes me feel angry. Because my need is a recognition of how barbecue chicken is actually
is sweet barbecue sauce with pineapple and chicken.
I would really appreciate it if in the future you either don't eat any of it if you don't compliment it, or you order 2 of them.
Yeah. He wants to sit with his pizza by himself in the corner. Just give him a moment.
Beautiful. Hopefully a helpful one.
Yep.
We'll see how much we get coming in. We always forget. Thank you to Patreon. Thank you for everyone on Patreon. We're meant to mention that every time.
Sure. Yep.
Thank you for people over on Patreon. It's amazing to have that support from everyone. You're helping us be sustainable.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And send your questions through to popcultureparenting at Gmail. And make sure you stay tuned for the polls and answer the questions there as well. Looking forward to it. Thanks.
Hey, don't let your mother smell that beer on your breath. She'll take it out on me.
I don't want to see you again for the rest of my whole life. I don't want to see anybody else either.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Just use your best judgment. We trust you.
We're proud to have today's episode sponsored by Ergo Pouch, an Aussie company born right here in Melbourne. It all started when founder Alina Sack, a sleep-deprived mum, sewed her first sleeping bag to help her restless bubs sleep better. That little idea grew into a trusted brand making beautiful organic sleepwear that supports your child's development from newborn to 6 years old. The products are TOG rated for warmth, made from certified organic cotton, and built to last. They're also big on sustainability, which is something I'm really passionate about, especially when it comes to looking after the environment for our kids. So please check them out and show some love as they're helping pop culture parenting grow into the future.